Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another wardrobe update. It's been a minute, so there are quite a few things to talk about. I've bought many things, and in the most recent past I've been talking about how one of the things my wardrobe, specifically summer wardrobe, really needed is basic tops that I actually want to wear, and I've definitely succeeded in that department. I'll say I feel like I'm covered for now. I mean, I say that, but I'm still gonna add something of the sorts if I find even more that I like. But yeah, found quite a few things, most of the things actually from brands that I haven't shopped with for a while or ever, and one of the brands we're going to talk about is Swiss brand Lamarel, so that might be specifically interesting for the Swiss people watching. It's been the first time on the channel for a really long time that I've talked about a Swiss brand specifically, and there's also a bit of a reason for that, but I think I'm gonna chat a bit about it once we're finished with all of what is new in my wardrobe. We're a minute in, and like I said, there are plenty of things to get into. So I suspect this video might be a little bit long. I mean, at the time as you're watching this, you'll be able to see the timestamp. So yeah, just grab a coffee, grab a tea, settle in, get cozy, or you know, get whatever ready you need, and let's talk about all the things I bought for my wardrobe since the last time and other wishes and updates. So first things first, about a month back I added a top in white that I already had in black. It is the one-sleeved asymmetrical top from And Other Stories in cotton. I was really happy with the black one, wore it quite a lot as soon as I got it, so ultimately decided to add it in white as well. The black one I have an XS, which is quite small for what I usually get. I mean, I usually get an S on top, sometimes an M. And the white one, I got it in an S just because the white is more see-through and I'm going to be wearing it without a bra whenever I can. It is, in fact, the only item I've bought from And Other Stories out of the entire list, which is unlike me. But yeah, I have so many good things to talk about from other brands, and yeah, let's just get moving. The next thing I bought is Adidas Sambas. This is the first pair of trainers, I mean, kinda, that I've had for a really long time. I mean, I do have the New Balance, and then I had this like really crappy Sarah pair when I was in London the last time because I really didn't want to invest too much into trainers, but I've since then come around. I've only been wearing boots really and like sandals and stuff for summer for the past like 4 years, and yeah, I'm ready for the trainers again. I think it's probably partly from spending so much time in London, and also just, yeah, I don't know, my style is becoming a little bit more casual. I went through a period where it was very like, I don't know if posh like is the right word, but I mean, you know what I mean. I'll show a few pictures as well. It's very Zurich, but like very this part of Zurich. And yeah, I'm just toning it down a little bit, and trainers are definitely part of that. I'm actually really happy with them. I wear them on most days right now, and I usually wear them with like socks that are a little bit taller and then like a skirt or something like that, or pants or jeans when the weather hasn't been too nice. Because even though it's summer in Zurich, this summer has come so late, to be honest. It's only been the past couple of days where we've had like consistent good weather or like warm weather, and like now looking outside, it's one of the colder days again actually already. So I've been wearing the trainers loads. I haven't had trainers for so long, so it took me like it took me a moment to break them in, and yeah, I was just constantly wearing band-aids on the back of my heels for a while, but now they're all good to go. And I know that they're so basic, so popular, but I also don't really have a desire to stand out with my footwear, so I'm okay with that, and I think they look really great. And ultimately I'm looking to definitely get another pair, maybe something in a more colorful version. Then I added a new Answa tote bag. This is basically just like an upgrade, or not an upgrade, it's just like a new version of the bag that I already had and wore so much. I did talk about on Instagram considering buying it in a red. I've actually considered it for a couple of years now, and then specifically wearing it a lot for summer, but honestly the old black one was just so worn out. It almost looked kind of brown, and I really wanted a new one. However, we should talk about the old one, because the old one, at the end of the day, I have worn it 252 times for a final cost per wear of 0.51 francs. I mean, I say final. I haven't sold it or anything. I haven't gotten rid of it. I still have the old one. I'm kind of contemplating whether I should sell it for just a little bit, And yeah, maybe some teenager will get some wear out of it, or like some joy out of it, even though it's pretty worn out. But I'm not so sure yet. But back then I bought it for 130 francs, the new one. I mean, I did have a very significant gift card for Answa, so that actually paid for almost all of it. But you know, the gift card I paid for myself just a really long time ago. So it is technically, or it is 165 francs now. So they've gone up in price a little bit, which makes sense also with inflation. I mean, I've had this bag for like 4 years now, and I know it is a very expensive tote bag, so depending on who you are, it might be shocking to hear that I spent that much on a tote bag, but ultimately I just repurchased the same one again because I do wear it so much. I get so much joy out of it. There are a couple of updates to the design, like the way the little brass logo looks, and then also the bag is slightly bigger now, even though it's technically the same size, like they're both the medium, which I definitely I think that was a really good design choice to make. So updated my Answa bag, and I'm really happy with that. Then, like I mentioned, I have been on the lookout for some basic tops, specifically for summer, but just in general. And when I'm looking for like my perfect basic tops, such as this one, this is one of the things that I bought from a brand actually later on that we're also going to talk about. But what I'm usually after is something which is like tight fitted and which sits quite nicely on my chest in a way that I don't have to wear a bra with it. And then usually something in like one full color. You know, here I went with brown, or usually I'm also looking for black and white. And then usually I'm looking for something with a smooth surface. So something that doesn't really have like a rip to it or another type of finish, which in my opinion is a little bit more casual. I like something that's often either, yeah, smooth or a little bit shiny even though it doesn't have to be that. But here in Switzerland, it's very limited what options we have for shopping comparably to, for example, Denmark or London, which is other countries that I would go shopping in. But I just happened to enter Weekday because we do have a couple of Weekday stores here. I'd say that Weekday is a little bit too young for my taste. I did go in there anyway, and they did indeed have some basics that were just like aligned with my style, I'd say, on sale. So I ended up buying like 4 or 5 different tops. I don't even remember how many. I put it on the list here, and I'm just gonna, you know, show pictures of them as I am talking. But basically found something that was quite aligned with, yeah, everything that I've just mentioned. And then, you know, now that I have bought something on top of that, maybe there was like 1 or 2 that I could have gone without, but sorry. Okay, but they were, like mentioned, on sale, so they were very inexpensive, and then also made of natural fiber. So I was like, you know, since they are all like good fits, surely I'll get some wear out of all of them. So I've added these, and then very shortly after I actually ordered a really big package from Naked. This is a brand that I usually overlook. I don't know, I haven't really gotten into it for like a really long time. I haven't had anything from Naked for like 4 or 5 years, so I'm not sure really how I got into it, but basically they just have so many options for summer right now, which I would say is very aligned with my style right now. And then they also had just like some basic items that essentially was really what I was looking for. So I actually ended up making an order of like 20 items. Spent $500 on that because of all of the discounts. There was a summer sale and stuff like that. And usually when I order quite a few items, it's very rare that I keep more than just a couple of items. I mean, it's also crazy I was even like able to get that much for that amount, especially in Switzerland. But yeah, usually I'd send almost all of it back. You know, I usually only keep the items that are perfectly aligned with what I'm looking for. But here there are just so many good things. I actually ended up keeping half. So we're gonna get into that. And the first things that I kept are these singlet double folded tops, I thought they're called. They are made from, I think it is polyester, or maybe it's some other type of synthetic, but with this shape it's not really that big of a deal. It's quite comfortable, it's very, very stretchy, and it sits really well on top. This is usually something that I get in an S, but in a medium it fits really well. I got it in brown and in black, and looking back I wish I would have added the other colors too, but I didn't realize I was gonna be this happy with them. So yes, these are something that I bought. At the end of the day, I paid like $17 for each, which if these are gonna last me a while, I'll get so much joy out of them. So that is a really good deal, like, you know, relatively to me and like where I'm living. Then I also kept this halter neck top in crisp white linen. This is something that you'd usually see at Reformation, at least from my opinion, but then because it is from Naked, it was just so affordable. I ended up paying like $34 for it, and yeah, it just fits really well. Usually I like something that's, you know, a little bit tighter in the chest so that it really presses in, but it doesn't gape or anything like that. It still is like a really good fit. Yeah, so many beautiful pieces. And then on top of that, I also got a denim skirt. If you're following me on Instagram, you've already seen me wear this a little bit. I've been wanting something like this for quite a while, and I think I've tried on at least 10 different skirts of this sort already, and I haven't kept anything because nothing fit even like remotely well. So I tried this on and it fits so well. Like, it's really such a good fit, because every once in a while, you know, if there's something I really want, we've talked about this before, it's something that, yeah, I talk about in a lot of my old videos as well, is that you will keep an item that's not perfect because you just really want something like it and you end up not wearing it that much. But didn't happen with this skirt. Luckily I was able to find something that was just like perfectly a perfect fit. So yeah, also worn this already a couple of times. And then also with these singlets, it looks so good. Like, everything I've bought from Naked, like everything I've kept, could just like create outfits for me for the next month without me in like remotely getting bored. There's so many outfits in these. And then I also got a linen skirt of the same shape-ish. It is also a midi skirt with a slit, even though it's in the side. All the bottoms, by the way, and also the dresses that we're gonna talk about, are extremely true to size. I got a 40 in almost everything in terms of, you know, bottoms and dresses. And yeah, this like linen skirt, I've also worn this like quite a few times since I got it. I mean, quite a few times, I think like thrice or 4 times maybe, because, you know, I haven't had my order for that long, but it just fits so perfectly. And I think it can't be 100% linen. I'll pop it up on the screen. It must be some sort of cut, because it falls so beautifully, which is also something I've talked about before, how, you know, when you have something which is 100% linen, it's beautiful, but it tends to crease so easily, where if you have like a linen which is cut with something else, like a cotton, usually it'll fall much nicer, and this really falls so nicely. My only regret is not getting it also like in a black, because it is such a good fit, but unfortunately it's sold out at the minute, and I'm not sure they get their items back when they're sold out, but we'll see. And then I got this black dress, which I was a little bit hesitant with what color to get, but ultimately I went with it in black. It's just to have something like a couple of summer dresses that I'm actually into wearing, because yeah, maybe I'll get into that just like straight away, because I do have some items from the past years from summer that I have been happy with while I've had them, but ultimately it's also been like at a lack of something like better. Like, for example, the dresses that I had from And Other Stories, I'll pop up pictures here. They have really helped me in the summers, but I also just, I don't feel like at my very most stylish in them, to be honest. I never really have. So these will definitely survive in my wardrobe. I will keep them, especially like the one with the slight v-neck. Like, I don't think it's the most flattering dress. It's also a little bit boring, but it's really comfortable. So I'm definitely keeping it because of that. But I also want something that looks a little bit more chic. And yes, I got this 100% linen dress, and I just think it is so beautiful. It would have probably also been cool to have it in red, but black is fine. And I think I paid like 67 or something for it. And also the skirts, like I paid something around the same, actually maybe a little bit less. And then I kept another dress, which is this beach dress. This is made of synthetics, but because it's so, like, it is so not see-through, but you know, it's literally filled with holes. Like, it's a crochet dress. Anyway, because of that, it's quite comfortable anyway. I've also worn it to the lake a single time, where I wore it with like my red bikini underneath for a bit of like a sexy look. And yeah, the shape is just really, really nice, which it's not always that I like a bodycon dress, but this just fits me so well. So that one I'm really happy with as well. Then 2 more basic tops. One, I'm sort of like, I mean, I do like it. It's not perfect. Now I have so many other great things. I could have probably sent it back, but I think it was also like 8 francs or something like that, or $8. So it's not the end of the world, and it's also like a cotton thing, I think it was. But it looks really nice from the front, and then it has these like straps in the back. Really lovely simple top. And then another black top, which is just like a high neck, which it's also something I like to wear quite a lot. So yeah, that's also really great. And that's everything that I've kept from Naked. I mean, you can tell there really is a lot of things to talk about. And now we are gonna move on to Swiss brand Lamarel. So actually, funny story, Lamarel has been around almost from exactly when I moved to Zurich, and It's started by a Swiss influencer, and it's kind of funny to see how it has grown. I'll be honest, I haven't really followed the brand's development, and I actually just happened to walk past the store, went in, tried a couple of things, and then after that I started getting ads on my phone. Isn't it always like that? Tried on quite a few things in store a couple of different times, and ultimately ended up actually getting this bomber jacket in gray, which I really love this one. It's quite pricey relatively to where you're living, but it's really good quality. It's mostly wool and then with a cotton lining. Really well made. Like, I made sure to inspect everything in store because that's, you know, what I'm like, and everything, yeah, just seems so well made. So I actually ended up buying this jacket, but then ultimately actually had some issues with the lining. It turns out, because I ended up googling it, that if you choose a cotton lining, for the most part, if it's not like treated correctly, it'll cause friction with your other clothes depending on like what you're wearing, and the fabric will sort of tear at each other. So I ended up taking it back, which I was actually quite nervous to do so because I haven't had the best experiences with Swiss service, specifically in retail, to be totally honest, over the past years. But they honestly, they were just, they were so nice about it, and they heard me out, they asked, and I even have like sent them like the videos that you're also seeing, and then they're passing on the feedback to the owner, so that, I mean, who knows, maybe it was just like a bad design decision, you know, it was a like bad choice of materials. I mean, when you are a somewhat new business, you know, you live and you learn, because everything else about it was so perfect. And, you know, had it been like $150 or like $200, I would have probably kept it anyway, but just because of the price, I did decide to just take it back, just because the lining was behaving like that. But with some luck, the jacket will come back, and maybe we'll switch the lining. I'll definitely get it again. But I ended up getting some other things actually after that, since I wasn't gonna get the jacket, and I got these boots that I also tried on the first time I was in store. Maybe I'll actually just like show you some pictures. Like, the first time I tried on the boots, I also tried on this black blazer. Such a great blazer. Like, the whole concept of the store, I don't want to turn it into like a Lamarel review video, so, you know, then I'll just keep talking and talking, but they do have like some really good items, and the whole concept is capsule wardrobe pieces, and I feel like since that is the branding, they're definitely succeeding. But yeah, I tried on these boots and actually wasn't really able to get them out of my head. I started out by not getting them because I was like, you know, it's summer, I really don't need boots right now, even though it is a cold summer so far. But then I thought about it for a couple of weeks, and honestly, this is something that I've been looking for a really long time. They fit super well, the color is super great, the shape is pretty much exactly what I would want. So even though it's a couple of months until I can get like the most wear out of them, sometimes, you know, you have to make a decision, and I feel like for the most part I'm pretty good at making these long-term decisions, so I decided at the end of the day it was worth it to do this now for me. So I bought these boots, been spending some time also, you know, breaking them in because they are leather riding boots, so I've been doing quite a bit of that. I'm not quite done yet, but they are really comfortable. Like, the sole fits wonderfully, there's like really nothing wrong with them so far. So yeah, I also paid $330 for those, which for Switzerland is just, it's really reasonable price, especially for leather boots, and there's, I mean, so much material in them. And then I bought this tube top in off-white, but I bought it anyway just because the fit was so great, and it even has a rip to it, but it doesn't have this casual rip. In my opinion, it's still kind of like an elevated piece. And I think I was also shocked, I mean, this is also again gonna be like relative to where you live, but I was really shocked that it was only like 45 francs. So yeah, I bought that, and then also bought an off-shoulder top, which of everything we've talked about, this actually might almost be like the single item that I am happiest with. I've had quite a few different versions of off-the-shoulder tops in black mostly throughout the past like age of the channel, but even before that as well. Off the shoulder has always like really been my thing, and when I was significantly younger, I had one top, actually I had two, I had another one which was very similar, but especially one, it was very short sleeved and it was a crop top in black. I don't think I can find a picture unfortunately, but I do have it somewhere in storage because I've never had the heart to throw it away. I wore that top out and about, like every time I would go out on the weekend for like maybe 3 or 4 years. I loved it so much, and what that shirt had was that the way it was attached to the sleeves meant that it always stayed on exactly, and you know, you could like move around in it, and I've never really been able to find anything like that since then until this top from Lamarel, and I've only worn it twice. It's a cotton piece, I think, or is it lyocell? I actually don't remember. Anyway, it's a natural fiber or a natural material fiber. And yeah, the way the sleeves look, they're a little bit larger, like towards the end by the hands. I just think it's such an elegant top. I also tried it on in a dress version, but ultimately I think I'll just get more joy out of the top, so that's how it started. And yeah, that's actually what I bought from Lamarel. Actually, it is the last piece that I've bought that we're gonna talk about. That is everything that I've bought. But yeah, they just came out with another tube top that I really want, and this one they have in a crisp white. I'll show it. And then they also have it in a dress, which I actually tried on in store, but they didn't have the dress in a crisp white. And now that I know that they have this top in a crisp white, yeah, it's I want it, you know. So that is definitely something to add to the wish list. And to be totally honest, the bumper jacket that they had in gray, I still kind of want it as well. So I don't know, that is partly like on my wish list, but I don't know when I'll, you know, yeah, I don't know. It was actually very difficult to return it, and then I'd been in stores since and contemplated rebuying it even with that issue, but yeah, no, that's just I don't want to do that. But actually, yeah, I said I was going to talk a little bit about Swiss brands, and I think that I will. I've never really talked about this on the channel because, you know, I live in Switzerland. I'm an expat here, and I mean, of course, you certainly complain to your friends about things that, you know, you want to complain about, but I don't really want to be caught complaining too much, you know, about anything Swiss, like, on the channel. Again, like, I live here and I like living here, and I don't want to make it seem otherwise, you know. But I do have, like, one struggle that I really have here, like a negative experience of here, just like generalized, and I'm sure, I mean, I already know I have some expats watching as well, is that in Switzerland, or wait, Swiss quality is like a statement which has a lot of marketability to it. Like, it carries a lot of weight. I think also outside of Switzerland, like, if you hear something is Swiss quality, you make certain connotations which are positive. But I will say here in Switzerland, it's even more. Like, it's very important to Swiss people. I mean, maybe that's, I mean, because in Denmark that would also be the case, but I feel like Swiss quality carries some sort of ring to it, which, having lived here for a while, I feel like sometimes brand will just take that and like slap it on their products, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like, I have had some experiences with things from Swiss brands being of like not that great quality, and then you do pay a premium price because it is Swiss made, but then if the quality is not that great, and then ultimately I will go back to like complain about it or like show it, and this is sort of the thing. Service in Switzerland is not famous for being that great, and if you go to complain about something, I don't feel like it's often that well received. It's sort of like, if you go to complain about something, you're usually like the enemy, and then you can, as a consumer, you have two choices. You can either just like, you know, accept that as it is, like that you bought that item and, you know, they don't want to hear what you're saying and then walk out, or you can like double down and like enter an argument with the store clerk or like the store, which I have done like multiple times, but it's always unpleasant. I don't like to do it, and I think I've just been so disillusioned by Swiss brands as a result that I haven't even bothered for a while, to be totally honest, because when the experience is unpleasant, I think it's just subconscious. You just don't want to go there. But then yeah, I mean, again, like, it was like not necessarily like a super conscious decision that I made. It's just now looking back, that is certainly what has happened, because I've just been sort of like turned off by it. But then yeah, walking past Lamarel, and, you know, I was gonna say knowing that it has a lot of social proof, but that's sort of like my point. That doesn't necessarily mean anything in Switzerland, because if it's Swiss, then Swiss people will stand by it regardless of, yeah, I mean, maybe that's also an opinion that I have formed because of my experiences. I don't know. But anyway, I've been into the store multiple times. Probably some of the best service that I've ever had in Switzerland, specifically in retail. Like, everyone who works there is so lovely. I've talked to like at least 5 different girls. Super attentive, super sweet. And also when I went actually with the bumper jacket, like one of the girls that I talked to, she was like, well, if you want to take it anyway and you wear it and blah, 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 and it's really bad in like 4 or 6 months, you can come back, and usually like we are very willing to accommodate people if like there seriously is an issue with the garment. It's just very lovely. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that before in Switzerland. So I think that's also, to be totally honest, why I ended up purchasing multiple things, because I felt really safe to do so. So yeah, that is, it has my stamp of approval as a Swiss brand. So that is really, really great. And then I think just as a general rule of thumb, just talking a little bit about my style, you know, I did think about whether I wanted to talk about like some of the things that I'm wishing for, but right now I feel like it's a little bit less about that. I have been through a period where I haven't been like super inspired to buy anything, and then I usually, yeah, I just don't, and then spurts of like inspiration will hit, or like I'll find something really great at a store, and or like, you know, I find a lot of great things at a store, and then I will just buy it when that happens. So right now I have a lot of like really nice basic pieces to make some like really great outfits out of. There are things that I'm wishing for. I would like to buy a denim jacket at some point. I feel like that's something that do well in my wardrobe. Again, I haven't had one for a really long time, except for of course like the denim trench coat. I feel like it doesn't really count. It's not really what I'm talking about. And then eventually I would love to get a denim designer bag, but that is not a wish for right now, I think, so far. So obviously this video is already kind of long, so it's not like we're gonna talk about this forever, but I think, you know, it's only the real ones that are left anyway. So I think I'll just shortly mention this. You know how I bought these 3 different pieces from OddMuse, and I've been really liking them, been wearing them a lot, and then I also said I was gonna do an OddMuse review on the channel. I said that really thinking that I was gonna come up with this like really positive review, and to be totally honest, my experience with OddMuse, the pieces, hasn't been that positive, specifically because the brand really markets itself by being, I think they even put on their website like literally, yeah, designed to last. These pieces will last in your wardrobe forever. That is such a bold statement, also because like that's my pieces are, especially one of them is not looking that great, and it's the blazer. I've worn it 16 times. I'm also starting to have a slight issue with the top. That one I've worn even less, and yeah, I don't want to go into it too deep in this video. Either I am gonna bite the bullet and then just do like an in-depth review, and then hope that like if it does get watched by the founder, because the thing is like once you start reviewing these like newer brands, they're made by younger women, you know, I don't want to like discourage anyone who's trying to like make a difference, but at the same time it's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't like to have to say something negative, especially when it is again like these smaller brands. So like the I mean, I not know personally, but like the founder is like a young girl, you know, that you can like follow on Instagram. But then I think it also has something to do with the fact that it's a British brand, and British culture in terms of like how you complain and give feedback, and the same is true for Switzerland, although it's not it's a completely opposite direction. Anyway, now I'm sort of getting sidetracked a little bit. But so in Denmark, if you complain about something and it's reasonable, like there's clearly an issue, it would never turn into like an argument, because the store clerk will just see it and they'll just like either give you a new item, they'll, you know, return it under warranty, whatever it is, of course, if you have the receipt. And it's never an issue. Like it's like feedback is heard and appreciated, and then everyone moves on with their day. Where, you know, Danish people are very open and direct, and I think especially from living here in Switzerland, I've really learned that complaining is something that Danish people do a lot. But we also complain when it's not really considered complaining. It's just considered, it's like a feedback thing, you know. If you don't say when things are wrong, then how can we improve? Where I feel like in Switzerland and then in London, okay, let me just separate Switzerland from this, but in England, everything has to be so polite and well packaged. They don't say things to each other like directly, and it's almost as if like, yeah, you know, when The Curated was a new brand, I reviewed that back when the channel was new, and I also had constructive feedback, I think I'll call it. And I know for a fact that the founder watched that video. I mean, I just do, because she follows me on Insta as well. I also follow her. I've been a little bit in contact with her. Like, she's really lovely. And the main thing that I complained about at the time, which was the lack of like straps for the belt, they've also fixed since then, but I will say in like a way which is very true to the brand. Like now they just have these like really thin straps, which are basically strings, so that it doesn't like mess with the look of the... Anyway, the whole point is just that the feedback was like heard, and yeah, I don't know. Again, this is just an opinion that I've formed, but you know, putting designs to last, these pieces will last in your wardrobe forever. That is just such a bold statement of like the quality that I have seen so far on the brand. But it's all about, I think, I mean, now I'm really getting into it anyway, am I not? But it's really about how, like, where you're starting from. Like, British fashion, there's a lot of very, very, like, low quality, very cheap, fast fashion. I don't even remember what the brands are called right now, like Pretty Little Thing, Boohoo, there's plenty. That in general is really not a thing in Denmark. Like, we don't have the same culture. So when you say that something is designed to last, first of all, I've never even seen a brand from Denmark say that. I mean, maybe they exist, but I've never seen it. But that would be the case. Where here, I think she says that, or like they said that, they put that on the website because the quality is so high compared to like the British standard, where to me, coming from Denmark, like this is like, it's a bit of a step down, I'll say, in terms of like the quality, but then they put that on the website. But I think it's all about culture. It's like, where is your perspective coming from? And I also have the privilege of, yes, having a Danish perspective. I think it's something that I'm really learning. But yeah, I'm not, again, this video is really long, so I'm not gonna get into it right here, right now. But maybe, you know, some of you regular viewers could let me know, like how, I don't know. Or maybe not, maybe I'll figure it out for myself, like, you know, creating this review, even though it's, yeah, not gonna be the most positive, but I really thought it was gonna be, and I was so excited about making this review, and now I'm just less so. So yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed this long wardrobe update. If you did, please give it a like so that I know, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!